Okay, so last time we talked about what parallel and perpendicular lines were and what their characteristics were, as well as what coinciding lines meant. Okay, so today we also discussed how to find whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or coinciding. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit more about standard form, which you've seen before, but we're going to get a little bit more into it than you maybe have in the past. So standard form for a linear function is when you see x and y on the same side, but also there's a little more to it. And in our previous math classes, that's usually all the further you went. But really there's a couple of characteristics of these types of linear functions when we write them in standard form. So a, b, and c need to be integers. Also, a must be positive. All right, so that creates a few things when we're thinking about standard form that maybe you hadn't noticed before. So integers, again, just positive or negative numbers with no fractions or decimals. And in this case, a has to be positive. Okay. And then over here on the side, I wrote, is there a shortcut to find the slope and y-intercept from standard form? So rather than converting it to slope-intercept form, I can show you something here that might be a nice shortcut that you can use if you'd like. So one of the ways you can do this is think about this standard form. If I did the same thing and converted it into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, but used just this generic form, that really just means getting y by itself. So if I said, all right, that means going subtract ax from both sides, I would get by equals, I'm going to write negative ax first, plus c. And now last step would be to divide by b. Okay, so then this would be y equals negative a over b x plus c over b. Okay, so now it's sort of in slope-intercept form. So this is really right here my slope. And this is really my y-intercept, or your small b. Okay? So if you're trying to find a quicker way of looking for your slope, if you're given standard form, you can actually just do this. Okay? Negative a over b. So if I had 4x plus 3y equals 12, then what would my slope be? Well, you could say my a is 4, so negative 4, negative a over b, which is 3. So my slope would be that. This is a little faster way if you can remember this right here. Otherwise, you can just convert it into slope-intercept form if that's easier for you. But I like this, just kind of a nice shortcut. Okay. And it's the shortcut is a little handy for when you're doing problems like this. So this says, write the standard form of the equation of the line that passes through the point negative 2, 10, and is parallel to this equation, 2x plus 5y equals negative 4. Okay, so first I want it to be parallel. So I need to find the slope of this line first. So I'm just going to use that shortcut that I just talked about. But again, if you just want to convert it, that's fine too. but this is just a little faster, so I'm going to use that. So I would have negative 2 over 5. So the slope of this line is negative 2/5. Now, we want it to be parallel to this line. So in order for it to be parallel, they have to have the exact same slope. So I know that my slope has to be the same. So parallel, it would still be this. Okay, so that's my slope. I also know that it needs to pass through this point. So these are kind of my two pieces of information that I really need. So I've got a point, I've got the slope. I'm going to start by writing it into slope-intercept form. Okay, and now I'm going to replace. So y equals negative 2/5 x plus b. All right, now you're going to plug negative 2/10 in. Remember, this is x and this is y. So I'm going to plug those in for x and y. Make sure you put them in the right spot. It's easy to mix these up. So 10 is y, negative 2 is x. So I'm going to have 10 here minus 2/5 times x, which is negative 2, plus b. Okay, so now I'm going to do some solving to get b. So I have 10 equals 4/5, negative times a negative is a positive, plus b. Okay, now if you're not super awesome at this with fractions, you know right now that you just need to go minus 4/5 from both sides and get what you got right there. So I like to put this into fraction too, just because the other one's in a fraction, so I want to make sure that we're okay here. So if you do this, you're going to end up with 46/5. Use your calculator. I did to just make sure my numbers are okay here. All right, so now I know what my equation is. I just have some other things that are going on here that I want to deal with. So I'm going to, actually I think we'll change colors. So I have y equals negative 2/5 x plus 46/5. A little hard to see there, but okay. So we have the equation for the line. Problem. It's not in standard form. So I want to get this into standard form. So how do I do that? Well, I know that they have to be integers, and right now I have fractions. So if I look at this, I want to get rid of the fractions. Well, I noticed that the denominators for both of those are 5. So if I just take that equation and multiply everything by 5, I'll have no more fractions. So that's what I'm going to do. And first I'm going to give myself a little more room here. I'm going to erase this. Okay, so now I'm taking this whole equation and I'm going to multiply it by 5. I'm going to write it over here so you guys can see a little bit easier. So this would be 5y. I'm just distributing all the way through. So I'm going to take 5 times negative 2/5 x. The 5s are going to cancel, so I'm going to end up with negative 2x. And then I'm going to say, all right, what's 5 times 46/5? Again, the 5s are going to cancel, so I'm going to be left with plus 46. Now you could type that into your calculator if you want to be sure, but anyways, that's what we get. Now, the other thing is we know that the x's and y's have to be on the same side and x first. So now I just want to move the 2x to the other side. So I'm going to add 2x to both sides. So I would get 2x plus 5y equals 46. Okay, so this is standard form of this. Well, I want to make sure it's actually standard form. So first of all, a, b, and c, are they integers? Yeah. And then the second thing is a positive? You always want to make sure that it's positive, and in this case, yep, we're good. So my answer is 2x plus 5y equals 46 in standard form. So this standard form is an extra step, okay? All right, so now I would like you to take a look at this problem and give this one a shot, okay? All right, see ya.